Put it right next to him. Yeah, you can put it right. You get a napkin put underneath them so it won't be. Yeah.
Now, the other important thing to keep in mind is that this is only an exhibition.
I guess it's because he said we usually have some. And it was in the other box for a week. Girl, boo. Oh, you called? You already know that, so I didn't speak to the manager. Thanks. PC.
Yeah, I'll look at you tomorrow.
That was the one where my notes showed.
Right. Yeah, once a night. Once a night. You know what I'm talking about. You know.
That's the wrong way to
It's probably not H1,
It's HDMI, but
it's probably 2.
it's HDMI.
It's all set.
Okay, so this is, it's finding my device now. It's gonna work now, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. You can take this.
Don't do anything.
Switch.
Sorry, I got kidnapped.
Let's see if I can get it.
You sitting in the middle. I thought you were going to sit in the middle. Y'all can do musical chairs if you want. I'm sorry, Miss Betty.
Okay, so I don't know what to do about that. Maybe it'll go away. Which is in you right there.
Don't pull yours up.
That's that.
You already got it.
I think it's this. Just
I would just leave it there. It's just, what can I do? Yeah, okay. It's just, you're funny.
I'm going to exact those extra towels. For Roll, she don't get no food.
You sure you're good?
You got tea today? Yeah.
Sure, don't worry, you know. Is it on your phone? That wasn't funny, sir.
No, I know. I think it's funny though that.
Is that one?
There was one.
And it's like
That was just
like every time
it's something, yeah.
it's like nobody's gonna look at it. Might as well black cloak.
We're recording just so you know we're live anyway.
Did you bring paper I gotta sign? Did you bring the paper I gotta sign?
Yeah.
Good to see you. I'm wondering if
Boston.
No, I thought you were gonna say somewhere else around the country.
No, but I am feeling, having been on the continent, you know.
That's what I thought it was
Yes.
gonna be.
The live
The first one.
in a song right now.
Yeah, because it's 7-6. What was your name again? Marvin said.
So I'm mostly concerned about the village.
Does he need to hire or can I do what he wants? Oh, okay. What that feel like? Yes, starting from this is way for the other. Just do a regular sheet of paper. Okay.
Hello.
Just sort of like, you know, what it was that you might need. Good evening.
Good evening. My apologies, got lost. Thank you. I wasn't a part of the winning batch in this order.
No, yeah, but you're.
Yes, yes. Welcome.
We can get some food then, because I think I'm gonna see what's lying.
So we have dinner, because I know some of you all come straight from work. So while we're waiting on the other trustees to arrive, if you all want to get something to eat, just be mindful the camera is going. It's the only thing.
I'm gonna do some big next. How many people actually? We got 4. Huh? We do.
Okay.
You got a form, so you can open prayer, invocation, pledge of allegiance, to the end, break for the Smiley's just getting off work. Tony was doing something in regards to opening tonight, so they'll be over there in a minute. So let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Call the roll. The time is 6:09.
Trustee Williams.
Here.
Trustee Sanchez. Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee Owsley. Here. Trustee Smiley. Trustee Brandon. Mayor Booker.
Here. All right, we'll do the invocation from Trustee Williams and then do the flag.
It's downstairs.
All right, so go ahead and do the invocation.
Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for your goodness, mercy, and grace. Thank you for everyone that's here today. Thank you, God, for the business that was to be taken care of today. Thank you for our facilitator and everyone who came out to show up, God. We ask that you bless those that are on the way, God. Give them traveling grace and mercy. We ask that you allow us to handle this business, handle this meeting with decorum, God. Handle this meeting with grace. In Jesus' name, we thank you. Amen. Amen.
Just stand and do an imaginary flag over the corner.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll take a break and make some plates. We'll try to give some time for people to show up, and then we'll turn it right over. I don't even know what's to.
How long do we have this evening?
You have me until 9.
Okay.
Green beans, red beans,
I just wanted to say hello.
Who's the caterer?
Minister.
Who's the caterer? Who the caterer?
So
You said we didn't put the red beans away, so I was thinking of the jazz and jerk.
no,
They not consistent enough?
Oh, what they can answer is yes.
Oh, they don't do, they just do the individual. Rice and beans.
Have a little swag with it. I thought you was gonna be out of town. Yay. What part of Mississippi? I don't know why I asked, because I don't know. But
Right.
okay, well, I hope you have a good time. I hope you can recharge.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Your daughter going too, or she still in this place? Oh, nice. Okay, so we do got it back up.
For what?
So, like, why you not here? Y'all had some food.
You said what?
That's how I told y'all. I love food. Right, I'm like, man, I'm gonna get the attitude off.
I told you that.
I'm gonna move this. Because it's not, it's gonna sit on our table. Because it kept slipping, so I'm just gonna put it on the table.
Oh, okay.
Trying to be fancy. They sent it over to different.
Well, you have to get the other pan.
All right, sir.
How was the inauguration?
It was perfect.
But it was perfect. Oh, that's really good.
It was good. Family definitely showed up.
Okay.
Smiley, the other trustee, he had like 45 family members show up. So he was packed.
That's
But he just got to work,
great.
so he on his way.
That's good.
Yeah, it was a good night.
That's good. I did a lot of reading up about your statistics, and you're 63%, and your historic performance. And I was thinking, damn, you go.
God is good.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yes. I'm looking coming from the wrong direction.
Okay.
I didn't even know that Ruby's did rice and peas.
Huh?
I didn't even know you did rice and peas.
For the people to have mashed potatoes.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hear that.
That's right. I'm almost positive something that's from the ceiling.
We are.
I like you, Trevor.
I mean,
Either A, it's not gonna be with me. I don't think so.
I think we should.
Nah, G, wait, hold on. Hey, is there some on my forehead? A little moisture. Is there? Okay. Okay. Even though I think that sprinkler might have given me. I could be tripping.
I never fall asleep if I get off this. You're not hungry?
Yeah. When I get it.
No fall asleep.
I can see it.
Who's she yelling at?
Hey, how's it going, Carl? Sorry.
Yes. How are you?
Not bad. Almost an extended weekend.
Yeah. My wife and I were talking about the fact that we have no plans.
Hopefully that's a good thing, right?
Yes. Yes.
It feels good when you have nothing.
Right. Yeah, it should be nice. Nice and quiet. Hoping the weather turns over. That would be nice to have a nice.
Probably June.
As long as it's not raining, I think I'm good.
But I did that much when I was after the flight.
Yeah, that's
Real talk, I had no idea.
Real talk.
you can see that some people can't.
Like they look at like clearly you can see the mass. The camera like right here. Yeah, it's just like
And I'll wake up and lick it doors.
That's the way.
Like, yeah.
I mean, like, man,
We get back to Dr. Chill, you ready?
no.
They want to go into closed sections to the top.
Hmm?
They want to go into the closed meeting.
So we're gonna pull all of this stuff out of the section that's supposed to be done. So we gotta pull all of the stuff that's in the closed meeting out of the meeting. These are items that are supposed to be closed session. So, all right, so we'll reconvene at 6:22. So we have no approval of minutes, there's no oath reports, proclamations, announcements, or appointments. There's no finance management reports, there's no village president's report. What's really supposed to be happening is everything that we're looking at in closed session is actually supposed to be the agenda under President's report for 2025 retreat of the President and Board of Trustees. So the only thing that we're discussing in closed session is the village manager. Everything else is a part of the regular board meeting. So I'm gonna move 9B to be 8, well, 8A, which is the 2025 retreat of Village President and Board of Trustees. So introductory remarks by Village President Nathaniel Booker. Really, today is like that trustee.
Do we need to entertain a motion to do that, or as far as moving those things out? Or
It was a typo. I think it wasn't intended as an official agenda, but I think if you feel comfortable and.
Just making sure that, just for the record, that we are going to move that out.
Yeah, to amend the motion. The motion
You want to do a motion to amend, you can.
Yeah, I'll take a motion to reflect what the mayor said, and take all of the items besides the village manager review to the village president's report.
Second.
Motion in a second, please call the motion.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez, Trustee Jones,
Aye.
Trustee Owsley, Trustee Smiley, Trustee Brandon, Mayor Booker.
Aye. All right, so moving over the items, just introductory to tonight. Realistically, it's welcoming the new trustees who are here with us and making sure that from a board standpoint, we're looking at a second term. We're looking at that this is 2025 and beyond. This is more so of realistically, some of us have been on this board together for 6 years. And the way that the board meetings are going and the way that just energy and overall productivity and respect of each other is in some cases problematic. So we're trying to figure out how can we get together and understand that ultimately our goal is to move the village of Maywood forward. It's not to nitpick at each other. It's not to make the administration that you're a part of look bad. It's not about the board meetings of an aha moment. It's about truly how are we collaboratively working and partnering together to move the village of Maywood forward. So today we will have our presenter, Dr. Shears will go over a few different things with us over the next couple of hours to talk about one, inside your board package, we have the stability pledge, and the goal is by the end of this night that everybody will be willing to sign on to that. It's really talking about how do we make sure that we're not only moving forward together, that we do understand that yes, we're in a village manager form of government and there's day-to-day operations that takes place, but then there's also community relations and community activity that takes place. And that's predominantly through the elements of a healthy Maywood which again, is not something that was created from Maywood, but it's the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services that focuses on things that don't have to do with day-to-day operations and how we can proactively and collaboratively work on those things. And then just discuss where we are with the various different focuses of committees, councils, commissions, initiatives, and focus areas, and then to do some goal setting. I think that if we can all find where we lie in having the same intentions, which is moving the village of Maywood forward together, we can find peace. And I think that where those things that we can agree to disagree, that we can be respectful about it, and just proactively and positively move forward. Because I think from the elections, like, residents want to move Maywood forward. We don't want to keep going back. And just some positive productivity and proactive energy is desired. So that's the goal of tonight. So we'll go into the introduction of our retreat facilitator, which is Dr. Edith Shears. That's gonna bless us with making sure that we are truly the power of one for Maywood 2025, appreciating the promise and developing and supporting leadership that it brings.
Well, thank you. I can't tell you how pleased I am to be asked to come. I actually was scheduled about a year ago. It was 2 years, time really flies. And so I'm glad to be here. I took a fresh look at the board. I spent a lot of time researching and sitting through some of your board meetings. Oh my goodness. And so I got a good idea of how you function, and how much you really have on your plate that is so critically important, and how we can talk about how you can get to making all of your functionality a little bit better. So most of you guys and girls, I'm sorry, most of you trustees, let's be a little bit more formal, you don't really know who I am. So let me just tell you a little bit about me. I am the president and the senior consultant of a 27-year-old training and development firm. I started out doing things as an independent contractor, then I incorporated the business, and then I broadened my business by adding a pool of about 400 professional trainers across the nation. I was then able to get major contracts with PNC Bank, Wells Fargo, Wachovia. I also, my focus has basically been all things financial, wealth management, banking, insurance, and now my focus is all things leadership. I have both an undergraduate and a master's degree in human resource development, and that basically is just teaching people to perform better, human performance improvement. And I recently, well not too recently, 6 years ago, got a PhD in organizational leadership. Since then, my focus has very much been on leadership. And I don't know if you can tell by the way I'm dressed today, but I just came back from 6 months in Zimbabwe, where so I'm still feeling the spirit of the continent. That was my first time ever being there. It was awesome. And I worked for the Women's University of Africa, where I was designing and teaching workshops surrounding leadership. So you're not in bad hands. The name of my company is Mind Over Matter Incorporated. And I called it that because I taught a lot of difficult things like project management and things that people couldn't grasp readily unless it was taught in a specific manner. And the acronym is MAMI, which I love because I teach and train and coach and mentor a lot of women, because we are absolutely incredible. Sorry guys, but we are absolutely incredible. But I like leadership. Leadership is good for us all. And I'm not set up quite right here, and I don't have my automatic changer, so you'll just have to forgive me. We're here today very much to talk about, you have one that has batteries that works?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my dilemma, no batteries. No functional batteries. Hey, I'm cool now. Okay, so, or at least I think, and you'll tell me when I cease to be cool. So, you know, after looking at some of your footage, reading a lot about what goes on in Maywood, I'm really actually kind of impressed. I'm impressed, and surely you are so much greater than so many other townships and villages who are about the same size as you. But the relevancy today for me was all of you should have this one common concern. Your one common concern should be to have the most uncommon effectiveness that you can possibly have for Maywood. There was something interesting that I couldn't find a picture of the board, of all the board members together. And that spoke to me very loudly, because you're not a team. You are individual performers. You're individuals who have been selected to come together because you have a background, because you have passion, because you have concern. But you haven't formed a team yet. So I think teamwork is something that you need. You're all going to have, you bring something different to the table. You know, when they talk about diversity, diversity is not about race and color and gender. It's about experience and knowledge. So each of you brings some diverse knowledge and experience to the table that's gonna make something awfully powerful and impactful. So that's what's important for us to know today. And so I came up with some rules of the road, because I thought we would have a packed audience, and I'm sure we will eventually. But I've got some exercises and some interactivity, and then some just let's talk, some query, some Q&A, some planning, a little bit like Mayor Booker said earlier, to set some goals, to decide how we want to function together, or at least attempt to do that. So I'd like you to just participate. I'd like you to be respectful, because like in Vegas, what happens in the workshop stays in the workshop. And let's have some fun with this. You know, learning to work together and be together and function properly doesn't have to be dull. It doesn't have to be mundane. It can be a lot of fun. So I've introduced myself, but what I didn't do was I didn't tell you something about me that's non-professional, kind of, sort of. So I've asked you guys to provide your name, role, title. Of course, you all know this, but I don't know you. The number of years with the village. What do you believe to be your best leadership skill? Think about that for a minute. And one non-related thing about you, something, your hobby or something that you do really good or that you'll really suck at. I am going to say that I'm really good at singing. I'm a musician. I play several instruments, flute, saxophone, oboe, clarinet, and I love to sing. I studied classically, but I like jazz and pop, so if it's a dingy, smoky little club somewhere, well, I like the gospel too. I started in the church, as we almost all did. Then that would be me. So that's what I like to do. So why can't I start with you, Asia? Because you come, Asia, I love that name. It's an interesting continent, isn't it?
All right, Asia Owsley, trustee for the village of Maywood. Next week, Tuesday, will be 30 years since my family moved into the village of Maywood. So, yeah, very excited about that. My best leadership skill, I'm very collaborative. I love to get people's thoughts and ideas and figure out how we can bring people together and include everybody's value and opinion in some ways.
Okay.
One non-work related thing about me, I am a world wanderer. I love to travel.
Ah,
Yes.
wonderful. Where have you been lately?
I've been to Italy, I've been to Spain, Mexico.
Oh, you're making all the money. You got all the cash, right?
I wish.
Yeah. Thank you. It's nice to meet you. Welcome to training.
Thank you.
And then we'll move to Tori.
Hello, my name is Tori Guerin. I am village clerk here in the village of Maywood. I've been in this position now approximately 2 years, first appointed, now elected. And I'm a team player.
I like that. So now we've got someone collaborative and a team player. Things are looking up. Okay. And something about yourself?
I also like to travel. I did corporate leadership and teaching for 24 years, United Airlines.
Oh, wonderful. I love them. Jump in and help me anytime you feel like I'm sliding off the... Okay, just jump in there with something.
Something you really bad at, dude.
And you don't have to tell
Patience.
us
No,
everything.
patience.
Okay.
I need patience.
Save that, because we're going to do something with you. Patience, bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Mary?
Nathaniel George Booker, mayor for the village of Maywood. I was a trustee for 2 years. Prior to that, I was on the Economic Development Commission, and then been mayor for 4 years. Just got sworn in on Tuesday.
Yeah, congratulations.
What do I believe to be my best leadership skill? I guess I would say strategy with vision. And one non-work related thing about me is a hobby. Realistically, I'm a homebody. So I think that everybody thinks because I'm the mayor and because I am social that I like being out a lot, and I'm actually a really big homebody.
Okay, well, we can go with that. Am I
so-
going with that?
Just saying that I'm a homebody. All right. And I guess something that I'm really good at, I think, is proactive communication, not reactive communication.
I think you're good at that too.
And then something that I'm really bad at, playing like I'm faking phony. It is what it is. And I said what I said and I meant it. So I think the best way I could say it is being unapologetically authentic.
Okay. All right. I have to stand up here and spill all this stuff. Okay. And next, sir.
Well, I suppose that
So is your name
Participate.
village attorney?
I am one of the village attorneys.
Okay.
My name's Carlos Rebo,
Carlos.
and I have been working with the village since I joined Planthorpe and Jenkins, our firm, and so that goes to 2021. I practiced before, but that was my first involvement with the village, and I do a lot of labor employment stuff for them. I'm doing a little bit of this work now. As to what I consider one of my best leadership skills, I would say that I like to be a consensus builder, and I like to think myself of one who does that.
Yeah.
And part of it is because I'm the attorney and I work with folks who have different ideas and come from different perspectives, and so I like to see them working well together. So I see that as part of my role. To the extent that I can, obviously because I'm just the legal advisor.
Well, anyone who negotiates knows that everybody's not gonna, that has to be done by consensus, so I love that.
Want to find a common, goals.
Yes.
And as far as something interesting about me, I will say as you mentioned, you're a musician. I play bass for my church band.
Do you?
And that's what I do on Sundays.
Okay, so maybe if we get a couple more musicians
Get
or
some more
singers, we
instruments in here,
can
we'll
do something in
go
here.
again.
You're a singer, see, we're almost there.
I had to say something.
All right, so, sir.
And
Oh, no, I'm
The
sorry.
mayor wants me to say what I'm really bad at. And I would say that.
See, I didn't say what I was going to And you don't have to do what he says.
Well, I will say that if
I
there's
did.
something that I'm bad at is, learning people and who they are takes a little bit of effort. I'm not ready to do that. So, and I kind of feel my way slowly because I want to just make sure that I understand who people are. And it may not be the best thing when it comes to dealing with people who are looking to me to help them in some fashion.
Well, that's going to be on your list.
Yes.
Because we have something to capture that kind of stuff, where we need to build ourselves and where we need to improve and grow and change.
Hi, my name is Miguel Jones. I'm a village trustee. This is my 6th year. Born and raised in Maywood, so I've been here pretty much all my life outside of college and about 3 or 4 years after that. What do I believe to be my best leadership skill? I believe I'm good at building relationships, or so being a relationship builder. Yeah, I've just been able to, whether it be within the village or regionally or internationally, I've been able to build relationships and learn from people, and hopefully people have been able to learn from me and build some type of just rapport. Non-work related thing about you that I'm really good at. I am good at project management.
Okay.
I'm good at breaking complex things down into layman's terms.
I love it too.
And yeah, I feel like I have a decent ability to communicate. Something that I'm really bad at, I'm a really bad singer.
But you've got that voice.
I
Do you
do
hear
have
that
a-
bass in his voice? That baritone? Come on.
You would think, that's why you would think I could sing.
Yes.
So, but no, it doesn't translate well.
Okay.
But
Thank you for sharing that. Welcome to training. Great.
Yep. Ray Williams. I'm a trustee here in Maywood. I've lived in Maywood all my life. So that's 26 years. I've been here in the village as a trustee
He's
for
cute.
2
He's
years.
cute.
What's my best leadership? I think my best leadership skills is that I'm a listener and I observe a lot. One non-work related thing about me is I do like to travel. For the last few years, it's been mostly domestic, but I do like to travel. And I'm not like Miguel. One really good thing about me is I can sing.
Okay, all right, okay.
But it's only when I'm at home by myself.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
And one really bad thing about me is I can't sing in public at all.
Thank you for sharing that, Ray.
Good evening, my name is Steve Smalley, Newton, elected trustee. Let me first apologize for being late.
That's okay.
My skills is I'm a people person. I like to listen first before I react. My work habits is service industry oriented. I've been project manager, lead coordinator. I used to do audio visual for 15 years, so more hands-on. What else? Father of two college-educated young men, husband of 21 years, Maywood residents for 25 years. I'm not a Maywoodian as they call themselves.
Maywoodian?
Maywoodians, but
Okay.
I am. Maywood is my home now.
Okay.
I love the culture, and I have a thing about helping people.
Where did you immigrate from?
The west side of Chicago.
West side. West side.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So,
And I can't sing, but I love music and I like to barbecue.
all right. Okay. All right. So let's keep moving on because we started a little late and we do have some things to do. So the agenda that I came up with basically came from watching some of the Board of Trustees meetings, reading, mostly watching, listening to you guys interact, listening to how you communicated your positions or your arguments or your debates, how you worked with that. And I have to say that everybody has a pretty good ability to communicate. I think there is a problem with imprecise communications. It's not precise. Sometimes it's long-winded. You know what a filibuster is? What did Cory Booker did that not too long ago? It was fabulous. He captured all the attention, but what did it do? How effective was it? It was for a moment. And what the work that you do is for a whole community for as long as you're in these positions. So, suited for leadership. I wanted to talk to you guys about that. And getting to good is something that's interpersonal. It's an inside job. It's self-work. And we all need a little self-work. And I decided that self-work was something that we need to identify and work on. We'll get to that. Your reputation, what your brand is. Every time you get in front of that camera, every time the camera's on you, and every time you speak, every time you're in front of your constituents at an event or whatever, what are you saying? What are you role modeling? What are you demonstrating? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then finally, teamwork. As I said earlier, before you arrived, Stephen, I couldn't find a picture of the board. Not one picture where everybody was together. You know, I thought that said something to me. So, but yeah, there are a lot of things that indicated this. We're just going to talk a little bit about decision making. We have some activities around that. And now, civility is a huge topic. Civility, it's taking the place of so many things. People have a license right now, or feel they have a license to just say any darn thing they want to you, and any darn way they want to say it. But in the workplace, there has to be some regulation of that. And so we have to demonstrate civility, because if your constituents are seeing incivility in your board meetings or in any place that you are, it ain't good. It's not a good role model. So that's why we're going to do a little self-work today. Let's see what else we got. Now there you are. The smiling faces. And so I guess I skipped something. Yeah. Congratulations are in order. Because collectively, you are a new board, you are a new team, or you're going to be a new team, and you're the new wind that fills the sails of Maywood. You're it. The buck stops here. What happens, what improves, what doesn't happen is on you right now. That's a big, strong, and heavy burden that everyone should feel very seriously about. I love these pictures, so if you guys want to get a copy of that, y'all look good. You look like a team, don't you? Yeah. So I thought that was very important. Collectively, you're also the hope and the heart of Maywood for the health that you said you want to bring to this community. But also, you know, I stole some little phrases from your campaigns, forgive me. But you, and along with the community, are responsible to move forward together. The votes have been cast, and you are the people's choice. Everybody in this room, you are the people's choice. So all of the parties, with all of the names, you all encompass all of that. So some of you are returning, some of you are new. Some people know exactly what to expect, and some will get some eye-opening experiences. But you're it. You know, tag, you're it. The buck doesn't go anyplace else. If you don't handle the buck right, it's not going to happen. So, who is suited for leadership? And when I say suited for leadership, what do you think I'm talking about? You don't have to answer what your mouth is full. When I say, are you suited for leadership, what do you think I'm talking about?
Are you ready for the task at hand?
That's good. It's not about what you've got on, but that is what you have on is important, because executive presence is set by how you show up, and that is attire. And I'm sorry, it does mean something. But you're suited for leadership if you're not too thin-skinned. You're suited for leadership, and do you know what I mean by thin-skinned? For women and for men. Someone's going to say something not very civil to you. I was looking at one of the live recordings, and some woman came up to say, whatever Mayor Booker does or says or wants you to do, don't do it. Do you remember that lady? And or someone's gonna say something to you that's not gonna be very nice. How are you going to react? I tell women when I'm teaching leadership that if someone comes up and says, okay, honey, I understand, and it makes your skin crawl and you fly to the ceiling, you're not ready for it, because you're gonna have to deal with that. If you want to be in that game, in the leadership game, you're going to have to deal with people saying something to you that's going to make you want to deck them. But you won't, because you are going to have this self-discipline, this self-control. We're going to do a little self-work. Maybe you won't learn to do it today, but you'll learn to think about it and how that's going to affect you. So, I got some more. So who's suited for leadership? So if you have a desire to make a difference, you're suited for leadership. If you're interested in helping to grow, to act, to model behavior, if you're interested in improving the environment of this whole community, you're probably suited for leadership. You need to also be interested in being self-disciplined, self-controlled, self-awareness. I mean, just those three things. Self-discipline. We try to instill that in our children as they're coming up. We know that we have to, you can't respond to every ignorant or stupid thing that someone says to you. Maybe in your head, your self-talk can be going at it. But you are now leaders. People are looking at you. They were looking at you before you got here. You're leading somebody, your children, someone at your church, someone somewhere. I think you should grow now. I think you should be one powerful Maywood, one powerful board, one powerful team, and know you're not going to all think the same thing about a certain topic. But you might think one thing about it, Stephen, and he thinks something totally different, and I might feel that I can fuse those two together. Everybody's idea doesn't have to die. And whenever someone puts your idea down, do it gently. Do it with respect. I'm going to call the mirror out on something. What did I say? I don't know. Someone went on and on. Someone had a lot to say about whatever it was they were trying to say. And at the end, when it was your time to do a rebuttal, you said everything you just said was wrong. And I thought, okay, It probably was, maybe, but you didn't have to say it like that. But you just told me that what comes in your head comes out your mouth and you're authentically you, but we're going to work on that. Because now that you're the mayor, you're the main role model. You're the main person who's going to pull it all together, calm it all down, decompress. You're the man. So they're going to follow the leader. And some people are tit for tat. You say this, I'm going to say that. In church last Sunday, in my big, beautiful, wonderful, thank you, Christian church, a woman 60 years old got angry at a woman who she thought was sitting in her seat. They're all pews now. There's no seats. And she invited the woman to step outside. At least she was respecting the church enough to say, can you step outside? She was 60. What are you going to do? I'm just saying, we all fall apart at some point, don't we? Somebody pushes our buttons and we all fall apart. But that's what we're going to work on. That's why we need self-work. So you're all suited for leadership. You're all here. Not only do you think you're leaders, but other people think you're leaders. Now that's where the burden really comes. That's when you really have to shine, because other people are obviously looking at you and depending on you and relying on you to be all that you said you could be. And if you can't, I'd like to drop kick a few people right now from our top administration. We have to be better. Okay, so getting to good, I call that an inside job because it's self-work. And when you do the inside work, it enhances your external performance. When you are secure in you, when you are self-confident, when you have self-esteem, when you have self-worth, you do a better job. When you know who you are and no one can tell you that you don't know who you are, when you're authentically yourself. Okay, so it's just about growing. And so I'm not going to talk too much more. I'm just setting the stage for some of the things that we're trying to do. It's about growing. And growing is about change. And change requires a champion. And you are your champion. No one outside of you can champion what you want. Some people may want to, but you got to be the first champion. You have to be the one to do that. So, let's talk about good leadership. So we're going to have an exercise. Okay, I am going to, would you mind working with these beautiful and talented women? Okay, and can the two, are you working with us? Are you?
If the board will have me, I will participate.
Okay, so participate with the two of you, work together, and the two of you. So, let's see where we're going to do this. I'll come back to this list. So we're going to talk about good leaders. And the first thing we need to do, we're going to work in teams. We're going to work at some of these boards. And over here, we just have like a little makeshift board. Do you mind? I can put a chair or something. Or, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. So I believe that everybody has a superpower. We all have superpowers. And our superpowers come to the forefront when we are challenged. They make us resilient. They make us sometimes be deeply thoughtful and deeply critical. I'd like to see us do a little self-exploration and a little self-assessment of ourselves. Eisenhower said, you do not lead by hitting people over the head. That's assault. But in his day, in the military leadership, everything was top down. I say jump, you say how high. Today, our attorney can tell us that you can get sued for that. But there are lots of leadership theories. The first leadership theory was the great man theory. And I understood that because women were not in the workplace. Then so the great man theory says that anything that has ever happened that's been great or discovered, a man did it. So you can imagine how I feel about that at this time. But then there are all kinds of other theories. Think manager, think pink. There are trait theories that say you can be a great leader because you were born with certain traits. And some people were not. But that's not true either. Everything can be learned, right? So let's go and do a couple of activities that are going to lead up to the end of our program. So I'd like to just know, what made you want to be a leader, Ray? What made you think you could be a leader? What made you, was it a single series of something?
I don't think it was a single series of something, but.
Well, so you may not have to answer that. Think about that. What made you think you could be a leader? What made you want to do it?
I think I was put in a leadership role at an early age, responsibility for family that led into community.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just really good at it.
And isn't it great to find out what you're good at? See, I love the fact that you said that because oftentimes we're not good at self-promoting. We're not good at saying, yeah, I'm good at it. You know, I'm all right. What do you think?
I would say similar to Tori. I feel like I was called to be a leader from childhood. You know, people always look to me to be a leader, ask me for my opinion,
and you gave it to them.
Yeah, I did. I did.
So I'm glad you said that because leadership, like in spirituality, you know, some ministers feel like they've been called, but I think that leadership is the same way. Sometimes we feel like we were called to do this. And some of us aren't even extroverts. Some of us are introverts. But we're deep thinkers and we still feel that we have something to give. So I'd like to just say leadership is a practice. So if you're not practicing the violin or the piano or singing or whatever project management, you're not going to be good at it. Leadership is the same way. There are rules, there are skills, there are things that are necessary, and you got to practice them. And self-control, self-discipline are two of the strong things that we need to practice. So, here's what I'd like you to get to do. You got 3 groups. I'd like you to make an exhaustive list of what you think are the best leadership qualities. And I have something that I'm going to hope will develop and that you'll see, because I think I already know. But I'd like you to get together and list those things. And why don't you put them on there? Or do you want to bring it over to the table?
We've been breaking everything.
Yeah, no, you're going to go there, you're going to go there, and you're going to go there. And I just want the qualities that you think demonstrate great leadership. And there's a point behind this. And there should, for this board, you guys are using these. Yeah. And you guys, yeah, you're over there? Yeah, for that board you use that. And if you want to be secretive, you don't want anybody to see what you're writing, you can turn it around. And if you guys want to be secretive and you don't want them to see what you're writing, you can do that around the back. So, some of the leaders that you admire, what qualities do they have that you think you'd like to have? Oh, so she's just gone to town.
We're giving him to him.
Okay,
He's
all
right.
right.
We're giving, he's
He's
right.
the scribe, yes. And did you say, Tori, you were here from here your whole life?
Actually, I'm in and out. I did like 3 years, then 4 years, then 3 years, but I've been here for the last 30. But I was born in Massachusetts. My mom was from Maywood, but I was raised in Hyannis and Framingham.
Hyannis and Framingham. So I go to Boston all the time.
Okay.
I'm a scholar in Brandeis.
Okay.
So I've been all over Hyannis. It's a nice place. Yeah.
My uncle was the selectman in one town over there, and my dad still lives there.
Isn't that something to go from often?
Often.
Yes, so do I. Let me know, maybe.
You meet there, yes.
I'm not gonna say humility.
I missed the birth of the wedding.
And you may have said some of these things earlier.
I still want to touch your sternness. It was a long time to learn it. Because I used to just go too much.
Nice, organized church. You guys have exhausted.
Yeah, I think so.
He's still thinking.
What do you say?
Genie. Yeah, so that's a task. Is that a trait, a characteristic? So that the characteristic would be more like actually leading and that's okay though. I like it. 2 more minutes.
students in school, so enable, so that you got the tools, right?
Okay, how are you feeling? You good? Okay, so one of you from your team will read off your list. And then I want to show you something magical that's going to come up. So he's scribed. Do you want to read the list?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so, okay. Let's start with you reading your list.
All right. Everybody see?
Maybe not, but go ahead.
We said that the qualities of a leader should be they should have positive communication, time management, be relatable, be a good listener, be a visionary, be a delegator, have humility, have empathy with a touch of sternness, strategic thinker, patience, accountability and transparency, be open-minded, honest, collaborative, a convening connector, and be proactive. So those are qualities that a good leader should possess.
I loved every single one of them. What were yours? Yeah, you're the one who can sing.
Oh, okay. Oh, you want to sing this?
Yeah.
Because we did turn it into a song. We think a good leader has to have good listening skills, have to be able to lead by examples, have to be able to incorporate everyone's talents and abilities, make everyone feel valued, able to take directions as well as be detail oriented, have to have an ability to compromise, have to have patience, ability to negotiate, and then ability to accept defeat, even though you still keep your winning attitude.
Actually, I like that. I don't think I've ever heard that one before. And I do this a lot. I like that. Accept defeat and still have a winning attitude.
I was a coach.
You are a coach, well, that's why. See, yeah. All right.
Yeah, so as far as qualities that a leader should demonstrate, we put the ability to develop others into leadership, active listener, win-win, compromise, so someone that's looking for both parties to win. And we also mentioned delegation to others, which we think shows, or with that is to enable folks, it displays trust and it displays respect.
Totally agree.
And then qualities that a good leader should possess, kind of complement is as patience, and we put negotiating skills as well.
Excellent. Now here's, what do you notice about everybody's list?
There's a lot in common.
Well, that, but precisely, yeah, it's all people skills. Not one skill was a hard skill. A hard skill was that you got a law degree and you do accounting, or you learned how to be an engineer. All of these are people skills. So Harvard and Stanford did a survey, and they said that 85% of people, leaders who are successful, have excellent people skills. So what does that tell you? That's really what it's about. I went to the Chicago School of Professional Psychology to get my PhD. I did that because it was all about behavior, and I wanted to dig deep into behavior when you're talking about dealing with people. A lot of my friends who teach soft skills and who teach leadership, they talk about how being a manager is like adult babysitting. And sometimes it does feel like that, but it should not be, because there are adults, but the adults bring their child to work. So to have these skills, to be patient, to be, what was that with a little sternness? to be empathetic. And often men and women feel a little strange about using terms like empathy or emotional intelligence. But you've been using those skills since you were a kid. If you have children, you are using empathy and emotional intelligence with them. Do you know sometimes how you have the sixth sense? You can tell what people are thinking. You can feel what they're feeling. That intuition has been built up in you over years and years. So actually I had a chart that was going to show which, what areas, but I don't have to. They're all in the people skills area, every single one of them. So that tells you how important it is to be able to be respectful, to be able to communicate effectively with people. Just think about how you want to be dealt with and do it. So hard skills versus soft skills. All the soft skills are what people call interpersonal skills. No, I think it was you. Now, Sarah, I want to call you Village. What the heck is your first name?
Carlos.
Carlos, okay, Carlos. Carlos mentioned earlier that you sometimes have to warm up to people, and so that's a really good thing. That's something Carlos is going to work on. Your communications, your leadership is in action. It's not talk. So you are a leader because of how you act and how you behave and how you perform. That's what people are watching. So let's dive into that a little bit more. Okay, I'm just going to pass this. You need to be inspirational, you need to lead change, you need to empower people. I'm very transformational leadership. I love people. I love to lift them up. I love to hear what their problem is and try to help them come up with some solutions. But I'm also very transactional because you can't run a business unless you're transactional. You cannot run the city. So that little sternness was good. People have to dot the I's, cash the money, count it. They have to account for everything. That's transactional. This is a job. The leadership part is transformational. That's where you get to motivate people to do their best work for the community. So communications, resilience, self-awareness. Self-awareness is something a lot of us don't have a lot of time for. We don't pay attention the way we should. Ethics and morals are up for grabs in our corporate worlds today. Integrity and trustworthiness. Keep your word. Do what you say you're going to do. And if you can't, be the first person to tell somebody to apologize and make it right. I like what these guys said, the ability to accept defeat. You might not win everything. You may make a mistake. It's very possible. Admit it and move forward and try to make the best of it. So now we'll do a little self-work. Self-work is done intentionally. It's a purposeful journey, and it's a great investment, even if you only invest 10 or 15 minutes in it. And I can tell you that that's what these kind of sessionars are for. These sessions come to make you do stuff that you would never do, that you don't want to do, and maybe you don't think you need to do, but obviously you will get something out of it. So some self-work includes self-esteem, but for me, the two most important things on this list is self-discipline and self-regulation and control. That's what we need to work on. We need to work on how we pull ourselves back from the cliff when something goes wrong, when somebody challenges us, how we stop and pause for a minute before the first word comes out of our mouth. I hate to be challenged because I think I'm all that. But I'm really not. I'm just another human being with a lot of emotions, and when someone challenges me or sends me an email and it's kind of inflammatory, I just sit down and I go, and I got the vocabulary, I can go. And then I put it down, and I come back to it the next day, because I wrote it out of emotion, and we shouldn't do anything out of emotion. We should do everything out of clear thought, clear rationale, real reasoning. And when you're mad, don't write the letter. And when you're angry, don't talk to the person. Because one of the things that I think is really interesting, it's okay to hate the behavior. Maybe somebody's doing something, you hate the behavior, but don't hate the person. So don't make it personal. Make it about the bottom line. Make it about productivity. Don't make it about you. And when we start doing that, well, you know, what you did, then we're just starting to fight. You cannot hear what people are talking about when they're accusing you of something or anything. Get this out of his way. So, you're just in time to join us for an activity. But in order to get to your good, what do you need to work on? So we already know that what Carlos said, he's got one thing he needs to work on. Think about what you would need to work on. So first we're going to start with this, then we're going to do a personal SWOT analysis. So, you know that brands are very important. And when companies brand themselves, they brand their products. Young people are branding themselves on multimedia, on the internet. They are just cute and want to show you how to comb your hair, and they're making money, and they're getting attention. So you need to get attention too, but you get it no matter what you do. You're here. You're on recorded live often. Your brand is showing every time you are there. Every time you get on a stage, every time someone asks you to speak, every time you're not paying attention and you're doing something that perhaps you would regret later. But, so I just want to ask a couple of critical questions. This is really critical. What's your favorite cereal? You see how critical that question is? What's your favorite cereal?
Peanut butter crunch.
Peanut butter crunch. Why do you like that?
I like peanut butter.
Yes, you do. And so, who makes your favorite ice cream? Breyers. Not Edie's?
Andy's is my favorite.
Andy's.
place
Okay.
of ice cream.
All right. What is your favorite make and model of car?
Range Rover.
Range Rover. Why do you like Range Rover?
Style, space,
Okay.
6'6". So
6'6". What does that mean?
the
His
space,
height.
Oh,
His
okay.
height is he's tall.
Okay. All right. Okay.
step up.
And I'll just ask you, Stephen, what's your favorite jewel?
Jewel,
Jewel.
diamond.
A diamond. Why?
That's
Well,
the best.
okay. So people are going to look at you in the same way. Whatever, if you didn't know you had a reputation, know it. If you didn't know you had a brand and that people had already branded you, what's important about this is your brand should be of your making. Your reputation should be the one that you say you ride and you drive. When your reputation is described by somebody else or spoiled by someone else, it's hard to redeem it and reclaim it. So that's what this is about. Branding you. Branding you as the CEO of this and of all that comes with this. So I started people out doing this by using their first and last, the initials of their first and last name, because it was just easy. So for me, I use EC and excellence consistently It's been my brand since 1998. I was working at Bank of America. I put that on my wall, right behind my desk, so that, you know, if people said anything crazy to me, if they wanted to know who I was, but I couldn't just tell them that. I had to behave like that, right? So if someone comes into the trustee chambers, you know, I don't know what you guys have, and say, Miguel is going to be on your team, Carlos. And you say, oh my God, I'm Miguel. Because Miguel never shows up, he never does the work. I'm going to end up doing this all by myself. Because that could be a reputation that Miguel has been setting that he didn't understand he was setting. But if someone comes in and says, okay, Brandon's going to be on your team, Asia, and you say, oh yes, Brandon does the work. He's going to be there. He's on top of this, blah, 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 blah. That's the reputation you want to have. You want people to acknowledge the things that you bring to the table. And you want them to understand that you're a great negotiator. You're level-headed. You are all that in a bag of chips. Whatever your brand is going to be. So I made mine to be excellence consistently. I've been working that and working that and working that. I also developed one with all the letters of my first name. Edie develops individuals through hard work. Hard work was kind of a fudge. I kind of fudged that one. But that's what I would like you to do right now. I would like you to think about using your first initial and last initial, or anything you want. You can come up with a whole slogan. You're in good hands with Carlos. Anything that you want. But this is a start today to create something that everybody, that you're telling everybody, this is who I am, this is what I bring to the table, with your first and last initials. Now, if your initials got a Z in it or X, that might be kind of difficult, okay? You can use a thesaurus or something. But think about that. About 3 minutes, and we'll go around the room and see what you come up with. It's okay if the first one, oh, you're already ready? Okay, well, hold on. We'll let you go first. It's going to be okay, Carlos. It's going to be good. So your reputation is so important. And you've already established one. You may have to reestablish it. What we're planning on doing is growing past the way we've acted and the things that we've put out there, and we're going to pull them all back and start working on new stuff. And since it's just your first attempt, don't worry if it's not over, off the top. These things will grow, and you can develop them as you go along. But I know yours is perfect, right? Everybody got one, or do you need another minute? You good? Okay. So we have to start with Asia because she was the first one ready out of the. So Asia, what did you come up with?
I did two. I did both the initials and the all letters. So my initials, AO, always original.
Oh, I like that.
Thank you. All the letters, Asia, always strong in action.
I'm happy with it. Okay, so you're new. Does everybody know you? Do they know who you? What do
Everybody
you think
except
about that?
Carlos.
Yes, I just met her.
Okay, you just met her, but how do you feel about the brand that she just came up with? Does that speak to her? Always original? I like that. Okay, but does that mean that you're always good? Or that you're always reliable? Or that you're always dependable?
I'm always striving to be better.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna save you. Let's go to Steven.
I did all three initials. SS is Superior Service. The name Steve. Steve teaches everyone value and excellence. The slogan, smile with media works.
I love that. Okay, so service is your area, right? And everybody knows Steve, and does that fit? Does that brand fit him? Okay. Okay, all right. Okay. And you got that too. Ray. Okay, no. Ray has spoken. We are doing Miguel.
Yes, so I did the initials. I put mindful and joyful. I do enjoy having MJ initials in the Chicagoland area.
Okay, I guess you do.
And then as far as my name, I put manage intelligence, goal oriented, underdog mentality, enthusiasm, and love.
I love that. So underdog mentality means you're always striving. You're always doing the due diligence, like you're behind.
Yeah.
So you're always ahead.
I'm always like preparing for the booze or preparing for people to not root for you.
Yeah.
Just like it's like preparing for the worst and hoping for the best.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, when you prepare for the worst, you are prepared.
Right.
So preparation is everything.
And then my slogan, I have two of them.
Oh my goodness.
So one is really I got from my former teacher. A man is an architect of his own destination, or a man is an architect of his own destination. That's one. And then the man who thinks he can.
I like that too. Or the woman.
The man or woman who thinks they can. And a man or woman is the architect of his or her destination.
I love it. When I was in Zimbabwe, I had a group of young men and women, and we did this. And he decided that, well, there's a lot of male patriarchy and male domination in some of the African countries, and especially in the rural areas. He came up with Kingmaker, and it was very strong. But I said, but I'm not accepting it unless you're a king and a queen maker. So I like to spread it around. Let's go with you, Mr. Booker. Mr. Mayor, Your Honor.
So I put Nathaniel Booker is nurturing blessings.
Okay.
And then I put Nathaniel. So Nathaniel advances together, harvesting awesomeness naturally, intentionally executing love.
I didn't expect you would do all of them. But say that one more time.
Nathaniel advances together, harvesting awesomeness, naturally, intentionally executing love.
Write a book. That's good.
I'm working on it.
It's good. Okay, no, but see, everyone has to vote. This is what Nathaniel thinks of himself. What was the first N, B?
Nathaniel.
Nurturing
Nurturing
blessings.
blessings.
So, what do you think? Up or down? Or even a sideways? Up, up. You know, it's okay. You could give him a down. We're all equal right here. Today, we're all equal. Very good. That was very good, actually. All right.
I did my initials TLG, and I put thoughtful leader, gracious, always here to serve with class. I am yours, because yours is my brand and it represents your own urban reliable source.
Oh, that's very interesting. And you came up with that way before this.
No, I just did this right now.
But yours is.
Well, yours is.
Yours
is the brand.
It's a business.
It's my business.
Okay,
it's a
so
brand.
just so
yours is.
thought of that
so I thought
before
of
this,
how
yeah.
to incorporate yours.
I am yours.
I am yours into yours.
Okay, so I just want to say, you're looking at creativity on your board right now. Lots of creativity. So what do you think? You got 2 ups over here. All right, so sir.
So I did my initials. Resilient. Oh, look at that. Resilient, and a workhorse. And then for my slogan is I am more than a conqueror. And then I did my full name. Ray, always humble, mature, and always nurturing.
I like it, and so many people have used nurturing. Keep that in your mind, because you need to nurture each other. You're a team now. You're working on being a team. You're working on being one Maywood, one power, one incredible, amazing group of individuals. That's what you're working towards. That's one of your goals. If we set some goals, that's one of them. So the only person who hasn't done it now is Brandon.
Carlos didn't go.
Huh?
Carlos didn't.
No, I'm saving Carlos. I'm saving him. So, you want to jump in there with yours?
Okay. So I did my initials, and I went with for integrity, and for the letter B, which is brand and integrity booster.
Okay, that's not bad. Anybody want to go with a vote on that integrity booster? Okay. Last but not least is Carlos. Carlos, you're going to have to be on the board now. You know?
Yeah, right. Well, again, going with my role as somebody who advises.
So you kind of here.
So I'm kind of a little on the outside here, but I just went straight for the slogan and said, my name, Carlos Arevalo, because you can call and count on your attorney.
Wow. You need to give that to a whole bunch of attorneys that I know. But that's really great. I have to say that when I was looking at the live recordings, you all deferred to the attorney a lot. And it wasn't you, there was another guy. Yes. And so there was a lot of dependency on you. And there's a lot of interdependency on a team. So let's keep going. Here's some of the benefits. Your brand, whatever you decide your brand is, I'm driving excellence consistently. That's my internal anchor. Whenever I step up to a project or a task, I'm thinking how I can bring excellence to that project. Sometimes it's a pain because too much perfection can just be, you can't be perfect, It helps you to really find your purpose and your personal meaning on this team, in your life. Not just on this team, but in every walk of your life. It encourages you to establish some personal definitions of success. Other people cannot define what success is for you. Only you can. However, as this team, whatever you do comes under scrutiny. And there are going to be people out there who are going to like what you do, and people who are not going to like what you do. The thing to do is the best that you can do. It's always you to withstand the pressure. So it always, it allows you. See, I'm not perfect. It allows you to withstand the pressure and sometimes the fear of other people's perceptions. And really, that's our biggest fear. What other people think. That's one of the things that holds us back. Even entertain what other people are thinking about us. And I have a whole thing on that. We don't have time to go into it. But other people's perceptions is where all the bias comes from. We have our own biases. We all have some. But other people's perceptions of us can be very biased and can make us lose our self-confidence. And then it just generates some internal strength. When you know that you are the natural, nurturing blessing, and that you are the service superior, I forget what it said. Yes, that you're all good, and nobody can tell you anything differently. Now, in your books, or in your little handouts, we have this SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis is a professional business process. I took it to make it a personal process. And the reason why is because when businesses are about to expand, to change, to add on a new product, they go and review their strengths and their weaknesses so that they can know whether they're capable of doing this expansion, whether they're capable of taking on these bigger and broader ideas. So you're in the business of changing to your 2025 persona. The trustees of Maywood, this powerful one team with brilliant ideas, all kinds of diverse ideas, who are going to start to learn how to work with those ideas in a respectful, proper, funneling way. So, do you know how, what do they call the soap operas? Get their topics every day? They just throw out anything. The baby was born with 2 heads. The twins one of the twins got killed, or what, and they put them all in this funnel, and they see which ones shake out. If you were designing a new car, a car of the future, if that was your decision making, and you would say, what could the fuel be? What could fuel be for a car of the future?
Water.
Okay, what could the shape of the car be like?
Oval.
What could be some of the features of the car?
Fly.
It can fly. It's got to fly. So I'm just saying that this is how you get ideas. You put all those ideas, they may be abstract, but you can put them in a funnel. The reason why I brought that up is because there was the question of the financial budget. And there were people who wanted to amend it this way. There were people who wanted to amend it that way. Some people wanted to add to this line, and other people wanted to detract. You have to take all that into consideration. Because at the end, you got to have consensus on it. And maybe you didn't get what you wanted, but everybody else wanted it. So you just got to go with everybody else. Consensus is what you're all trying to get to. And consensus for the best good. And then I'm just going to stay on this topic for a minute. Make sure your argument about something that you think the board should be involved in is crisp and precise. Don't argue an ordinance or anything that you haven't thoroughly sat down and looked into. So I asked the question, do you all get the information in advance when there are going to be some changes? Okay, so in advance, do your preparation work. Sit down with the budget or sit down with the material and say, I'm not so sure about this, and this is why I'm not so sure about it. When you come back to the group to negotiate or debate, and we could use argue, but some people take argument to another level. But you have a reason why you don't like it. And somebody else may have never thought of that. So the point is to be prepared with your arguments, be prepared with your rationale and with your considerations about what's going on. I'm not on the board. I'm not on anybody's board, but I do know something about that kind of negotiation. When you do it thoughtfully like that and you bring it back to the group, then it's considered thoughtfully. What you yell and what you rant on or filibuster about is never going to be heard. People aren't going to hear that. So make sure that whatever you're trying to influence the board to do, because you feel like it's sane and rational, present it in a sane and rational manner. Okay, so this is the SWOT analysis. I'm not going to ask you. It's almost 8 o'clock, so are we still good? Okay. Well, we're gonna sing and party and eat and things. So, can you give me 2 things in each of these areas? So earlier today we talked a little bit about your strengths, which you thought was your best leadership traits. But give me 2 things that you think you're really strong in. Give me 2 areas that you think you could use some work on. I already know one of Carlos's. Give me 2 opportunities where you can shore up those weaknesses or even create another strength. And then, what are the threats to your being able to do any of that? And that's what the SWOT analysis is about. That's what businesses consider when they're expanding, when they're growing, and when they're changing. So you guys are changing, and we could actually do this. We're doing this personally, but we could actually do a SWOT analysis on the trustees themselves, on this board itself, to say, where does the board need to strengthen? So that's a good idea. Let's just do this personally, though, okay? Just 2 things each. Because I think Mayor Booker said earlier that maybe we should come up with some goals for the board. And I think that's a good idea, and so maybe we'll use the SWOT analysis for that. But we'll do it collectively. 2 more minutes. Good. Asia, of course she's finished. Carlos, Ray. You look like you've got them filled out. What do you need, one more? Okay, so this is what I mean by coming to workshops. You know, they force you to do things that you would never do, but often there are things that end up being appreciated. So, I'm not starting with you. I'm starting with you, Miguel. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your strengths?
Problem solving and communication skills.
And what are your weaknesses?
Taking things personal and rambling.
So that's really good. Taking things personally, we sometimes, like I said, can be a little thin-skinned, but it's how people see, you're a great communicator, but how people communicate to you might make you feel like that. But what was the other one? Rambling.
Yeah.
I think we all do that sometimes. I think we all do. How about your opportunities to like maybe do something with your weaknesses?
Yeah, so basically patience and thinking outside the box.
Okay. I know what it is now about you. You remind me of my nephew in Los Angeles. I'll tell you about him.
Okay.
You sound just like him, and he can sing.
Okay.
Ray.
Where do you want to know the threats?
Oh yes, please. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
As threats, I put community disinterest, losing our brand or harming our brand, and gentrification, loss of our culture.
See, so this one you did as for Maywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I did do it for
Yeah.
Maywood. I guess I was also thinking like as my role in the community,
Okay.
like how that could be.
Hold on to that. We want to add that to a list. I think those are really good. Mr. Ray.
I think my strengths is my ability to organize and then my ability to negotiate. I think my weakness is my countenance, and then not being overly vocal. I guess my opportunities, I have the opportunity, improving on my strengths, I have the opportunity to be more proactive, and then the opportunity to foster better collaborations.
And so I'm going to go back and ask both of you, where will you find the resource for that? Do you guys have resources within the village, other trainings, online things? Okay. That's okay. Yes.
My strengths, I'm a team player. I like to finish what I started. And doing my job.
Okay.
My weakness is I don't speak out. And I don't follow people.
You don't speak out and you don't
Follow.
people. That might be a good rule. That may be a very good rule. But
My opportunities is listening to strong leaders and advancements of leadership and power.
excellent.
My
Excellent.
threats are people who try to control and weak leaders.
Mm. But since you're not a follower, that's not bothering you too much. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Hold on to that one too. Brandon, you ready, or you need a little bit more?
A
I
little
can
bit
move
more.
on. I'll come back.
Yep.
I'll come back.
I would say I am a good communicator, and I'm also a visionary. See the vision clear. But sometimes with my weaknesses, I would say time management and active listening, trying to make time for family, friends, community, all of those things. And then active listening, sometimes my brain moves a little faster than the person speaking.
I
So
know.
I'll be ready to move on.
I have that same problem.
Yeah.
I have to work on it.
Opportunities for me is more delegation, prioritization, asking more clarifying questions, seeking to understand. Some threats would be maybe overlooking some small details, and maybe seeming dismissive if I'm not active listening. But
She just wrote mine.
Yeah.
That's mine. What do you do other than, what else do you do?
so for 10 years, I've been in workforce development, nonprofit management.
Okay, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, very good. Thank you. Those are really good. Active listening, I got to jump on that because, again, reviewing the board tapes. No, when people are talking or rebutting to you, folks are busy writing, so you're definitely not listening. They're not even looking at the person who's talking to them. So we have to change all that. We have to start working with respect and the whole active listening thing, if we can. I'm like you. I can almost see what you're getting ready to say. I know but I need to give you the respect of being able to say it. So, it's your turn now.
Strengths, I believe that I'm always respectful to everyone.
Okay.
I make sure of that because I exude respect back at all times. Communication is a strength of mine. I can communicate regardless of how uncomfortable the situation or conversation is.
Mm-hmm.
My weakness is when you know your job, patience. Time management, opportunities. If there's one presented, I take immediately, grasp, and move on. And completion, I'm very good at finishing a task, even though it might not be done in great time
Well, because
management.
time management, yeah.
I'd never miss the mark though.
Okay, all right.
It's always going to be completed.
Okay.
The way I complete it is a little, all over, but it always meets the completion.
But see, you're being honest with
It's
yourself
so-
about,
Yes.
and these are areas that you can grow in because you now have written them down, and you should keep this, and you should look at it and say, yeah, I'm gonna grow in those areas.
Threats, overbooking myself, spreading myself thin, and sometimes giving too many opportunities to people who don't deserve it.
Who don't deserve them. Oh my goodness, we'll talk later, okay? Okay,
Right. So for strengths, I put together a strategy and I execute on it. So not only putting it together, but executing.
okay.
Weaknesses, I put that I can at times be too goal-oriented as a focus. Because I put together the strategy, so now I'm executing on the strategy. And then I also put patience and tolerance. And then for opportunities, I put 100% inclusion, 100% partnership. And then the threats, based on the opportunities, I put the threat is the openness being taken advantage of. And then I put the vulnerability being manipulated.
I think they're all good. So over here, the weaknesses. So are you saying that because you are good at putting strategies together and executing them, that over here you just keep doing it and you're overpopulating your ability?
I'm just getting the task done.
Okay.
So
all
it's
right.
not like, don't take it personal. I'm just
Yeah.
getting the task done. And I always say, like, I don't know what I don't know. I'm not thinking about what I'm not thinking about. So if you have something specifically that is wrong with the strategy or the execution,
It has to
point
be.
that out.
Yes.
But if it's just to talk my ear off,
Okay, so, but see, this is good too. And this is a Maywood, this is a team thing. Because my son is kind of like a genius, and you can't talk to him around, you know, you're assuming that he's getting what you're saying. You have to be very precise. It's annoying as hell, but I've had to learn how to do it. And I've had to learn, you know, maybe the next time we'll give you all the tests about how you communicate. And you've done these tests before. Because it makes you understand that, let's just say Miguel, he is going to communicate in a certain way. And Carlos is going to do it in the way that he does it. And everybody's going to do it differently. And some people want to talk more, and some people want to talk less. I asked a male friend of mine, I'm writing a book on leadership. So I asked a male friend of mine, what was it about women's leadership that was a problem? And what advice would he give them? And he said, we talk too much. And he meant this. He said, we talk too much and we talk about the problem too much. We want to talk about the problem before we make a decision. And he wanted someone who was decisive, because men are decisive. So I called him up and said, well, I don't need you to help me write this book anymore. Is that decisive enough for you? But I'm just saying, we've got to understand that we got some differences, and we're all going to see things. And listen, we can't take it personal. Let's not take it personal. I like to talk. I'd like to get other people to talk. So I'm not going to make any major decision without some input. If I had to make that decision by myself, I could. But it's going to be like this, because I know what I know, but I don't know what Ray is thinking about it, or your perspective on it. You might say something and add something to the problem that lights go off, because I had never considered that before. So, I'm sorry I went on a tangent. But all those things are good. All this stuff is good to come out. Carlos.
I would want to make sure that Trustee Brandon gets a chance, because
You're
the board.
Okay, yes, I'll go. I was giving him a chance to catch up.
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay.
So as far as strength is concerned, I just put my institutional knowledge in this particular space. Been on the board for 10 years now, working on 11. Also put adaptability as well.
Big word.
Being able to adapt to changing situations and learn how to maneuver in different situations as well. Weakness is most certainly, I would say, just being a better communicator and communicating more clearly as well. I also put diving deeper, and what I mean by that is making sure that I do my due diligence and bring things to the table that I researched and facts to understand black and white.
Gotcha.
As far as opportunities, I'll put being more intentional about reaching out to folks and connecting with people. And then for threats, I'll put respect and then protecting the history.
Protecting the history. Okay. Yeah, I get that. And so it's interesting that everybody put at least one thing on there that had to do with the actual community. And I think that's really great. Adaptability in 2024, that was the key leadership skill, because you also had the pandemic and the things that were changing because of COVID, and a lot of things happened differently. And so being adaptable was the #1 leadership skill. So good for you to bring that up. So now are you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
As I said earlier, the consensus builder.
Yes.
It's just natural to my role anyway, because of the attorney trying to
Sure, I
everybody
know.
work together.
Yeah.
In listening. I am a good listener and that I have to obviously make sure that I'm aware of everything that's going on around the table. So that's generally a skill that I have anyway.
Okay.
Weaknesses, I've mentioned that, it takes me a little bit to get to know people.
Yeah.
A little bit shy in that respect. Warming up is an effort. And sometimes I can be unfocused. Opportunities, I think it's essentially trying to build a rapport with everyone here. Because I think that's the kind of thing that, that would
Agreed.
help. The threats, I think that particularly in the threats, it's the figuring out how I can work best with this group when I'm with them. I don't go to all the meetings. We have three of us that do it.
This was a good one to come to. I'm glad you're here.
And it's good for them because I'm the one that they know the least of the three attorneys. I just totally been recently
Okay.
started to do this.
Very
And
good.
So creating that, the perception,
Yes.
trying to, it's always important.
Exactly.
And so that, I think it's always a threat because I'm also an outsider. I don't live in the town. I don't have the same
You don't
interests.
live in Maywood?
No, I don't.
Ah.
And so then, of course, those are things that are, kind of barriers, if you will. And
Yes,
so that's what I
yes.
would think of threats.
Okay. No, I think they're all good. Who did not give me theirs? Okay, so let's go on because there's a couple of things before our hour is over. So,
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry.
yes.
For the rest of this program, was this going to be it for today, or are we doing something after this?
Yeah, and then the village manager will do after.
What did you have?
Okay.
Oh, that's closed session.
Close.
Okay. I'm just trying to get
Dr. Edith, I just wanted to call to the attention to make sure that it's on record that trustee Isaiah Brandon is here and also trustee Stephen Smiley.
Yes. See, she's a good clerk. All right. I want to suggest that you use this for just the trustee team. And you use what are the strengths of the team? What are the weaknesses of the team? That at some point you do that kind of thing. So here's a great picture. It was the only picture I could find of all of you together. I was like, what the heck? I was like, there is no picture of this team. And really that bothered me. So get you a team picture because you are now working on being a team. But teamwork, okay. I'm just going to go through some of these because I want to get to some other things. This thing, interdependency. The team is definitely dependent on each other. Nobody is an island on this team. Nobody can function and work as an island. Do you remember the movie, what was it, the 12 Jurors?
12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men, thank you. It's kind of like that. You got to be in consensus. But if you have an issue, you have to be awfully influential. You have to have done what Brandon was saying just a few minutes ago. Take a deeper dive and do the due diligence so that you can actually support or defend an idea. The design, teams are designed with accomplishing one specific thing. Your goal is to empower Maywood. Now it's got a lot of moving pieces, and each of you have a lot of different roles and responsibilities, but they all come together to accomplish the one goal of one amazing, healthy, and powerful Maywood. There's a social system that's created when you are a team. You root for each other to win, to accomplish things, to when you do something good together, celebrate it. And if it wasn't your idea and you were the only man or woman out who said, no, I don't like it, still celebrate it. because the team, you're taking it for the team, okay? And just be respectful. Just start with that. Start with being respectful and communicating with respect. So the reason why teamwork is more effective is because groups outperform individuals. Do you remember when you used to go and get a job and you met with one person and they liked you and all of a sudden you had a job? Today, you will meet with 2 or 3 people or a whole panel of folks before you can be hired to do something. And that's because that whole group of people are looking at totally different aspects. So it's good. They outperform individuals, and they draw more information because they have more diversity in thought and experience. Like you said, you've been here almost 11 years. Other people have been here a long time. You know how things work. But things are going to work better going forward because you're going to work on that. That's what you're going to work on. It's going to improve your image to the community, and it's going to make you feel better about what you're doing here. Okay, so now let's do decisions. I've got an activity for this. I think it's in your folder. We can do now 3, and 2. Now, did you work by yourself last time? Let's do the 3 of you, and then just the 2 of you. The lawyer you can always count on. Is that what it was? All right, so take out, let me give you this slide first. So good decision making. I gave you a scenario that you know nothing about. It is not a scenario from the council, the village, but I'm going to give you what the criteria is. Whenever you are making a decision, clarify what the priority is. What are you supposed to be doing? What is the goal? Gather all the information you can. Then carefully evaluate all the options. So, because it's not about the choice, it's about how you ensure to align the choice with the goal. So you're just going to identify the problem, set some objectives, gather information, evaluate the options, encourage discussion and debate. People may disagree. Bring your group to consensus. That's when you have been successful. So go ahead and you are going to look at the heart transplant exercise. And you are going to read, I'll read it. You are a member of a surgical team at the world's greatest hospital. All the patients listed below must receive a heart transplant today, or they will die. There are only 2 hearts available, and you must decide from this list which 2 patients are going to be the heart recipients. Now you'll find a lot of interesting verbiage in here, but the 3 of you guys are going to decide on 2 people, the 2 of you on 2 people, and the 3 of you on 2 people. See, you got the lawyer, you might be in good shape.
Or not.
Or not. There's a bigger one in there, I'm sorry, because I was told that one was so little, I think it's in the back. So there's a single sheet that has, it's much larger.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So are we working together on this? Or
Yes, so you need to read them first, and then
Right.
you guys come together to negotiate
Who are the 2?
who are the 2,
Okay.
yes. I know, it's going to be interesting. Put your thinking caps on.
I tend to work with you. So, I mean, yeah, it's like the, so I guess I'd say, some of these I would get damaged. So I guess I would throw it on citrus off that age, but otherwise,
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I mean, this was a 15.
What about that?
So yeah, I'm cool with that.
You sound like a truck stop. Oh, that was strong. Oh, it was. You spoke it out. That's what I was thinking about. Wow. But that's the comment. Look, that walking in. Yeah, I was stuck on that part a little bit too, because it's so strong over there.
Doctor, do you have a question?
Yes.
I mean, I guess maybe I would switch 6 with 3.
Well, I like 7. 7 to me was like a 6. A lot of the situations were like, okay, well, it started off good. But then I want to express it for me, you know, it's just kind of drugs too, that, you know, they shouldn't have.
Yeah, but if you do drugs,
That's what I was thinking. I was going back and forth like. Yeah, I'm 7. I'm sticking with 7. 7 and 9 started. But militant, but not militant. Afghanistan. Okay, fine.
I mean, you know, it's no better I'm just saying.
I can do that. Not a state. Because the words do matter. So.
You guys are wrong.
But is that what they do in India? Right, that's what they do in India. He's still in line with, you know, what they do in India. You know.
Right.
I mean, he's about the law. Who am I to go against his laws? One would have been good if it wasn't because of the military. Yeah. I mean,
I mean, but shouldn't you be kind of
Or
Yeah, let's do 3. Let's do 3.
you want some money in the PTA? Thursday.
okay, so I'm going to amend that.
Thank you.
Okay, 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna.
Fred and Milton. And so, I mean, but was he willing to put on bond? Where it's called.
It's also kind of ironic that the person that we pro abortions is a mother.
Y'all had that
strange too.
Somebody should have like some. Exactly.
We gotta go on fire. That's almost a that's what I'm saying. That's not. But that's why I'm kind of feeling for good at that stuff. Like all the years, they even be cold.
Then we doing right.
From work to work. Knowing that.
Okay, so I take it that everybody's got somebody that they saved their lives, right? Okay, team. You'll be team 1. Okay, team 1. Who are you giving the hurt to?
The 30-year-old,
What's her number?
Number 2.
Number 2. An ethnic minority ex-convict who is deeply into drugs, gangs, and is perceived by the community as a leader because his business has allowed him to open up large manufacturing factories, employees, and his people. Okay. All right. Number 2, and who else?
James St. Patrick.
Who?
Number 3.
Number 3, a never married 30-year-old militant feminist who leads pro-abortion demonstrations. She's a wonderful mother who has served an active PTA and a microbiologist, seeking the cause of breast cancer. Okay. I'm going to get your guesses first, and then we'll talk through them. Team 2, the 2 of you.
5 and 6.
5 and 6. Let me just look at them. 40-year-old skinhead, pro-choice, yeah. And 6, a white female with an intellectually gifted woman, okay? And team 3.
Team 3. Wake up.
Team 3, we selected
Number 3.
number
Number
3.
3, okay.
And number 5.
And number 5. Okay.
So
I want to know, what was your criteria?
Well, for us,
Under a certain age.
Okay. So you had an age limit.
So like number 1 was out for us.
Even though I truly didn't agree with that, but they pulled me in because the 70-year-old I felt like could get another minimum 18 years, 15 to 18 years. So,
No, I agree with you. But so I just wanted to know the criteria. So you had age, impact,
and drug use.
So if they use drugs, you said no?
Yes.
Why?
addiction.
Because it eliminates the effectiveness of the heart that they receive.
Okay. If they continue the drugs.
Correct.
you don't want them to get the heart and then the next day they're OD, and then somebody who could
This
have
isn't funny, but I do hear you.
utilized the heart and lived a happy life, healthy life.
Okay. What was your criteria?
So I think we looked at redemption, redeemable. I think we were looking at what impact they can make on the world in the future based on their story.
That was it?
And for the 15-year-old, it was just making sure that she gets the help that she needs in order to be the most intellectually gifted person possible.
Okay.
So there's a there of why a 15-year-old is on drugs and is a prostitute.
Yeah.
So if we can get to the there,
Yeah.
she's intellectually gifted, no telling what that 15-year-old story will be by the time she's 30.
Okay.
And the impact she's able to make. And then seeing past the former skinhead and looking at what they do today versus what they did in the past.
Okay. All right. Criteria.
I think for us, we went off the age as well. Impact, and as well as impact. So number 2, impact. I mean, what we kind of looked at there is what we kind of looked at in our community, what we've seen already in our community, and the impact that individuals like that have already had, have already made. And then number 3 was more so age and the impact that we think she'll have in the future.
Well, I have to say that you guys decided, you made this decision with your hearts. A lot, and especially coming from over here, I would say that what was wrong with the information you got? Can you tell me anything about what might have been wrong with that information?
It really didn't let us know if their body is in the condition to receive the
Well, that's interesting. So some people, some of the recipients, they would say that they had drug issues or they had issues that you knew would impact the heart. But every one of them, did everyone give an age? No. So age, how could you review them based upon age? Did everyone, well, and
With the backstory, I mean, some of
the
them
backstory.
Some of them were eliminated right away, just
Of course,
based off
because of what they have done.
And we didn't see any financials or medical information also.
Okay, so I agree. There was inconsistent information. Age is definitely probably a factor. But I can say this, the 15-year-old intellectually gifted person or the person that could cure AIDS or whatever, any one of them could walk out of the hospital and get hit by a bus. Can we make our decision based upon some? No. So I think to make it an even playing field, to make it an even playing field, we would look at the condition the patient was in. Are they strong enough to even withstand a heart transplant, and then maybe the healing process? I don't think we would look at if they did drugs, if they were prostitutes, if they were skinheads, if they were biologists, if they were nuclear physicists. Because if your mother was on that list, let's just say your mother's just a nice old lady. She's not going to cure cancer. She's not going to ever, any of these things. You would still want her to have a chance. Would her chance be limited by someone else saying, oh, well, she used to be a streetwalker, and he was on drugs, and
But we're in the world, so yes, that will all go into the conversation if you know the backstories.
yeah, but
Especially if it's
the
present.
backstory is prejudicial. The backstory is prejudicial. A heart goes to someone who can take it and who can live once they get it. So now we could go into our Google and Google what's the criteria for getting a heart. So all I'm saying here is you guys made some excellent decisions based upon the criteria you chose, but was it the best criteria? And you already knew that they were prejudicing you by those backstories. I mean, oh my goodness. That was intended to do that. And it was intended for you to say, I need some criteria that lowers the playing field. Now, I'm 70 years old. Yeah, my brother got a kidney transplant at 70. He's now 88, doing really well. It depended on the fact that he was in good shape, healthy. He was healthy. So I'm gonna give you, next time I see you, I've got an even better one for you.
How you get better than this?
And because it challenges you, it just challenges you to use the principles of how you make a decision. Use those principles, identify the problem, set the objectives, gather enough information so that, because everybody didn't have an age. So it was, if we were using age as a criteria, we weren't being fair. But I was thinking that you were going to be the one that said, no, you can't make decisions based upon these things. Okay, so that was good. That was good. Just one more thing. So, one more thing. Maybe two more things. I love this picture. This is the picture of a ship going nowhere fast. And, you know, even the little silly things. Some people have their oars in the water, some people don't. There's some booming going on, but it doesn't seem to be consistent. Do you see that even the dragon on the boat has their eyes closed? There's no leadership here. This is not happening, right? That's because there's no teamwork, there's no leadership. And it's interesting that leadership always rises to the top. Somebody always comes and says, let's do it this way, let's look at it this way, they influence something another way, and that's what I love about leadership. But now, they have leadership. They have a team. They know what direction they're going into. They're one with each other. All the oars are in the water. They're facing the same direction. And even the dragon is happy. Okay? So I'm just saying, teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. You gotta act together. Act together. And there'll be times when you need to act individually, but your accomplishments are one. Because you vote, and one thing comes out of it. So I was privy to get the civility policy from the state of Illinois. It's an Illinois policy.
Illinois Municipal League.
It's interesting that civility is such a hot topic now. But I just took this little part out. It's a pledge. It reads, in the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we're all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for how to achieve that. And that's exactly what a team is. Everybody's got some different ideas. Some people may agree on the similar ideas, but the civility part is to, whatever you do, do it with respect. Listen to each other. And so you may have to start doing it before you get it. You know, so it's always that, the chicken before the egg. Sometimes you may have to start giving some respect before somebody gives it to you. But make it your goal to do that. And then lastly, I was talking a little bit about managing conflict. But we don't really have enough time to go into it. But it's not a skill. It's something that you just come to the table with. I think, Tori, were you saying that, well, you have a lack of patience, right? You're looking for some patience. But I think we all, because we have so much experience, I know I do, you see the color of my hair, we have so much experience in areas that we do lose our patience sometimes. We have so much knowledge and ability that when people come to us with something that's just like, watch your body language, please. So when you're talking about communicating, also watch your body language, because I do not have a poker face. And so everything that I'm thinking really kind of comes out. Now, I don't do any eye rolling or anything, but you'll know when I put you down silently. And I have to pay attention to that. We all do. It says that we can take a conflict and transform it into a challenge, and then maybe into something even better than it ever could have been. And so lastly, this is the last slide. I kind of like the shifting thinking. Sometimes we assume we already know all we need to know. We are not know-it-alls, which is why we have to listen, why we have to listen actively. People come to you and you've got this thing already sorted out. But maybe if you listen, you find out that you don't. Don't worry about trying to hide your feelings, your true feelings, like these people are really getting on my last darn nerve. Or letting a whole barrage of stuff out on them because they got on your last darn nerve, and you're going to regret it. Because the camera could be watching you. Somebody could catch you in the act of doing something stupid that you can't pull back, that you have to explain. But if you have to explain, do. Admit that you were not in self-control, or that you didn't have enough self-discipline at the time. So anyway, I like the shifting your thinking. Keep the discussion professional. I said earlier, you can hate the behavior. You can dislike the behavior. Don't dislike the person. You got to work with them. They're members of your community. I could have easily disliked the woman that came up and said, well, whatever Mayor Booker says or whatever he does, don't believe it, don't do it. And I wanted to know what her motivation was and what was behind all that. But you dislike the behavior, but you don't dislike the person. Plan how you're going to deliver an uncomfortable message. You know you got to slam somebody, you know you have to fire someone, you know you have to have that talk with them, you know that they didn't deliver on something and you have to speak to them about it. You should plan it. You should plan when it's going to happen and the points that you're going to make, and anticipate the points that they might come back with. So just remove the personal elements, ask respectful questions, act with empathy. You do care. You may not be able to do anything about it, but you do care. Just listen, Lord. And at the end, check your body language. So I think I've taken you almost to the brink. It's 8:41. What questions, thoughts do you have? Do you want to take this last 15 minutes and set some goals? Or think about it. Think about it.
I think we need to think about like a part two.
Part two.
Because I feel like this
Then
is,
just really doing something.
I feel like this is literally just scratching the surface.
Oh, I'm sure that that's true, but I think we've scratched a little bit of surface. I can see people's eyes and heads nodding. I can see that it's needed, and it's needed from someone outside of your group. But we need to now sit and talk with everybody. Everybody's got an idea about how we can make you better, how we can make a team out of these individual brilliant folks who've been elected or selected or appointed to do this job.
So I think the question becomes, do we want to go in a closed session and talk about personnel, or do we want to do the goal setting? Because either one is going to take the next 20, 30 minutes.
Well, I have a question.
That's just my
So, I guess I didn't see any communication on him not being here, so I was concerned about the manager,
And the same people?
Well, that too, and then Sanchez, but most certainly the manager, because I most certainly heard some stuff that was mentioned today, and I wish he was part of the conversation.
Was he supposed to be here today? No.
I wish he was a part of the conversation to hear it as well, because I think everybody could have benefited from the conversation, or most certainly part of the conversation that was shared, and even for the conversation that's going to happen after this as well. He's not here, so I'm just trying to see what are we just talking about how we have reviewed him for the past 6 months, or how did that want to go? Because you have pretty much the half of the room that will be having this discussion. It's like almost new. So is it? Just trying to understand how are they going to evaluate?
Well, that's a question. Is this like Carlos, the village manager, should be a part of this team?
So I think, it's just me personally.
Yeah.
So the goal of this was for the board.
For the board,
And
yes.
I think a lot of times, or at times, we try to bring the manager in as if he's the board, and he's not.
And he's not.
His job is to handle day-to-day operations.
Okay.
Our job is to make sure that our synergy is in place.
But is there
And
some
I-
interdependency on him?
I think that
From time to time, so maybe.
I feel like at times we treat the village manager as if it's an elected position, not something that the elected body needs to work collaboratively to work for.
Okay.
So I think bringing Frank here would have completely diverted this as a
Okay.
focus.
But
And I
maybe.
think that the goal was to bring synergy amongst the board, not necessarily to the village manager and staff.
And that's fine, but and I'm okay with that. But most certainly there were some pieces that I heard
That you
on in his presentation that he needed to be a part of, or he needed to hear in regards to just how he operates as well, right? Because he has to work with us collectively, individually as well, and so just knowing how to properly navigate and how to do it with a balance, and how to be fair about how he do it as well. Those pieces for me, I wish he was part of the conversation, but
Well, so I'm just going to suggest before I have to get kicked out of closed session.
You can stay in closed session.
That,
It's preferred actually that you do stay.
That, can I eat while I say no?
Absolutely.
That this concern or anyone's concern with the village manager, that can be discussed between the team, and then at some point you might bring him in to say, here are some of our concerns, this is how we want to go forward. Because you're going forward. You're moving past whatever actions and activities and behaviors you've had before. And you're purposely, intentionally gonna try to be the best board ever. Because after all, you got Asia.
I think intentionally this was for the board, not for the board and staff.
Okay, but I hear you. I hear what you're saying, Brandon, and I think that's what we need to do. We need to stop and hear what everybody is thinking a little bit. Okay, I'll go away.
So we want a motion to go on closed session.
I'll motion to go to closed session for discuss personnel, employment, compensation, and discipline of personnel.
Motion by trustee Brandon, second by trustee Allison. Ms. Hubble?
Trustee Williams. Trustee Sanchez. Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Owsley. Trustee Smiley. Trustee Brandon.
All right.
Mayor Booker.
Aye.